my channel, Glow with Candace, and if you're new here, welcome. I'd love to see you back on my channel. So hit the subscribe button down below to see future videos like this and more by me. And don't forget, hit that notification bell as well so you can be notified for any future uploads of mine. So before we get started, I just want to show you guys, if you haven't noticed, my spring backdrop, getting ready for Easter. I am glad that spring's on the way. Like, I love wearing warmer clothes, but you know what? I just also really just love spring, and I love the warmer weather and the colors. And honestly, spring where I live is one of the best times of year because it's not over 100 degrees and it's comfortable temperature and really nice weather. So I love spring here. So I'm really looking forward to that, and days just getting longer. So these colors are just brightening me up and just making me super happy. I hope you guys are looking forward to spring. I know that the weather has been insane all over the country. Like, Texas is getting a bunch of snow and freezing, and pipes are bursting, and then we have people in the Midwest, like people all over are getting crazy snow. So I hope you guys are all staying safe. I hope you all have your power. Like, oh, I'm thinking about all of you. Where I live right now, we're not dealing with any of that stuff, but gosh, a few weeks back we did have a lot of snow. That was uncommon for this area, so but we didn't lose power. But I'm thinking of all of you who have lost your power. Hang in there, spring is on the way, even though I know the groundhog said that it wasn't, but hopefully it'll be on the way before too long. I had a request from a viewer to show you guys how I do my hair, how I style my hair with my T3 curling wand. I actually had been thinking about showing you guys, and then when I got a request to do it, it just made like, okay, yes, so it's about time I show you guys. And two, it can kind of solidify if you're on the fence about this, if you're wanting to or not wanting to. I know it's a hefty purchase. I talk a lot about my T3 interchangeable Whirl wand trio set. I have a review and a total complete explanation of this product and all the cool features about it. So I'll leave the link up above here if you're interested in learning more about this product after you watch how I use it and you're just curious and want to know more, or if you're on the fence and want to know all the perks, watch this video, because in this one I'm not going to be explaining all the perks and all the cool things or price or anything. I'm just going to show you guys how I style my hair, and that way maybe too you can take a few tips, or maybe it'll solidify you wanting to buy this. First of all, whenever I curl my hair, I want to make sure it's a little dirty. The dirt, like if your hair isn't like freshly clean, the curls are gonna last better. If it's freshly clean, your hair, it just, especially if you have a hard time getting your curls to stay, it can be a little bit more difficult to get them to stay. I don't necessarily have that problem because my hair is naturally wavy and curly. So for me, if I do it on clean hair, it still works. It's just, I feel like it's more crisp when it's a little bit dirty. Typically how I like to do it is I washed my hair last night, so it's clean-ish. So it's not like super dirty, but it's clean enough, but at the same time it has some of my natural oils back in it, so my curls are going to stay a little bit better. I'm super excited to show you guys how I do my hair, and I can't wait to get started. I always do my makeup before I do my hair. My hair is always the final product, especially because I like to put my hair back with my makeup bands, and obviously, you know, after I do my hair, I don't want to screw it up and put this band on, so that's typically what I like to do. Everybody's different though. So I already have a heat protectant in my hair because I put it in my hair last night. So I already have done all that stuff. Now I'm just kind of like getting it out of the headband and kind of just letting it loose. One thing that I highly recommend during doing your hair, curling it, straightening it, whatever, it's really good to go in sections. So depending on how thick your hair is will depend on how many sections you want to go. My hair is decently thick. It's very fine, so it doesn't look like I have a lot, but I actually have more than what it looks like. So whenever I get my hair done, they're like, oh, you actually have more than I thought you did. So yeah, so depending on how thick your hair is, it depends on how much you want to go into sections. I typically just go half and half. But also take a note when curling your hair, depending on how much curl you want, more sections is better because it has more segmented curls. If you're wanting just a few waves, really you don't need to section your hair. I like to section my hair in 2 parts because I like to have a few waves. I don't want to just have just a couple. I want to have a few. So that's why I like to do it, and 2, it just makes it easier getting your hair out of the way. So I have a hair clip. You can use any kind of hair clip. This is just a plastic black one. I have so many. I use them in the shower. I use them by my vanity. I mean, I have these all over the place. So just a hair clip, and I'm just gonna do that to part my hair halfway. So I'm gonna part my hair into 2 sections and do the first section first and then the next section next. I did comb my hair too before doing my makeup, so it is, you know, like freshly combed and good to go. Just to show you guys the T3, if you haven't watched my other video or you are unfamiliar with it, I'm gonna be using the 1-inch barrel today. It's kind of my go-to curling wand barrel with this set, just for an everyday look. With this, it gives a little bit more defined curl than a 1.25. That used to be my go-to, but unfortunately, they don't make a wand in that size of a barrel with this product. They use a curling wand barrel, a curler barrel, but they don't have a curling wand in that size. So I do have that in a curling iron, but it gives a little bit different look than the curling wand. And for a typical just look, I like to mostly do a curling wand. So I'm gonna be using the 1-inch barrel today. And it's already all warm up, as you can see here, and I use it on the 2nd setting. In your little pamphlet, it tells you the different heats and then what is recommended for you. 2nd setting for me, and it works great. So now that I have my hair parted, I'm just gonna bring my hair, split it down the middle, and bring it forward to both sides here, so that way I have all my hair where I can see it and I'm not gonna miss any hair when I'm curling it. Now, depending on how many curls you want to do will depend on how thick of a strand I'm gonna take. So personally for me, I like to have a decent amount, but not too many. So I grab a kind of like a medium chunk. And I like to start from back here first and work my way. So as I do a section, I'm gonna put it behind my shoulders so that way I know it's done. So I'm just gonna grab a section here. And the key with using a wand is you want to twirl it away from your face. Now, if you've never curled your hair with a wand before, it's definitely some trickery. You have to do the opposite what your mirror is, and it can be really challenging. So I'm leaving this on here for a couple, well, I don't know, about like 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. And then I'm going to let it loose, but keep my hand here to hold the curl as it cools. This is really important because as it cools, it just keeps the coil warm together and it helps make the curl stay longer. So I hold my hand here for about 30 seconds and then I let it fall and then I put it behind my shoulder here. So that way I know it's done and I've already curled that section and then I can move on to the next. One thing, since I do hold my curl and I let it fall, one thing I love about this T3 is the tip stays cool. Like I'm touching it, I'm not burning my fingers. Before I had this tool, that was something that happened all the time because I always hold the curl at the end. So I was burning my hands because I was so quick and I'm just like, oh, it hurts so bad. So that is one amazing feature I love about this product. So definitely keep that in mind. Like that alone is almost worth the price in my opinion. Like it saved my hand now. So I mean, look, I'm touching it now and I'm holding my hand there and it's warm, but it's not hot. So really nice. So now I'm just gonna keep going in sections and making sure I twirl it away from my face so that way it frames the face nicely. So I've done the first half. I'm gonna do the same to this side. Also, this is when it's really handy to be ambidextrous, whatever that word is, to be able to use both hands, because it's much easier if you can do both hands, and that way it's not complicated for you. Also, I kind of brush my hands through my hair to kind of like part it out of the way when I take sections. It's just easier because obviously your hair wants to go all together. So I just kind of run my fingers through my hair to kind of section parts together. Honestly, if you've never curled your hair before and you do this, I mean, it's gonna take some practice. I watched so many YouTube videos before I could get the hang of it because you're looking in the mirror and you're doing the opposite with your hands. So it can be really confusing, and definitely getting the hang of which direction to point your wand is super important too, which it takes some time. So as you can see here, I'm taking the strand of my hair and I'm wrapping it around, so this way the curl bends away from my face. It's all about positioning on how you hold it and how you put the strand of hair around your wand. As you can see here, I go over the top of my wand and not underneath it for the first like wrap around, and that is the key to get it away, from your hair or from your face, like to frame away from. I didn't hold that very long. And I always leave a rough, like, little couple inches at the end that don't go around because one, I'm not trying to burn my fingers, and two, I kind of want a little bit of that beach wave look. So it's important to leave like a couple inches towards the end that you hold out, that you do not curl. So, as this is cooling down, now we're gonna do the second section of your hair. Now this one I like to separate a little bit more, so like make finer definition areas, so that way I have a little bit more curl on top. So it's totally up to you what you wanna do and what you want your hair to look like, but typically I just like it to look a little bit more separated, not clumped together on the top, if that makes sense, to have different sections of curl. The more you do this, the faster you get. Obviously, since I'm explaining, I'm going a little bit slower than normal, and two, I wanna make sure that I'm showing you guys enough and explaining properly, so that's why this is taking me a little bit longer than normal. I feel like a lioness. I'm sure you guys can relate when your hair is just crazy. So honestly, keeping my hair in front here is kind of what I like to do because I can define the areas that haven't been curled yet and the areas that have, so it kind of helps me out. And once again, I like to start from back here and work my way over here. Now, right in this area is really where it frames the best around your face, so I try to get as close to the root as possible. When we get to that section, I'll try to explain a little bit more. I also like to get as close to the root as possible when I'm doing this top layer because it gives you a little bit more volume. So there's that as well. Notice how I'm like really close to my root here. And that's because I'm just trying to get that little more volume there. For the bottom layer, doesn't matter because no one sees it. So it doesn't matter how close to the root you get versus here, it does. Obviously, if you have shorter hair, you don't have much choice. You might have to go closer to the root if you want to curl. And honestly, I just wait till my hair feels cooled off. Like it's still warm, but cooled off. Like when you first have it, it's really, really warm. And then as you hold it there, it cools off. That's the importance, is just making sure it cools off. So that way, you know, it stays and the heat doesn't release the curl. So now that I'm getting really close to my face, I kind of over exaggerate the like holding of my T3. Notice how I'm like angling it like way up here because I really want it to go away from my face, like frame away from my face. So I'm like over accentuating essentially. Over accentuating essentially. And honestly, as you go through this the first time, you might find an area where you want to go back through and kind of fluff through and see like, okay, like I think personally for me, I want to go back right in here and get a little bit more volume. It was just kind of flat there, so I just want to get a little bit more volume. Ooh, that was warm. Gosh, and as you do your hair too, it gets so hot around your face from all the heat. You're just like, I need a personal fanner over here. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same exact thing on this side. So now I'm getting to a part where I'm getting close to framing my hair here, and my band that I was wearing, my makeup band, it left a kink in my hair, like a little indent. So I really want to get as close to the root as possible so I can get that kink out and to give it a little bit of volume, because it's kind of decompressed here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm gonna really try hard to get close to the root there and try to uplift it. So at this point, now you just kind of analyze your hair. Did you miss a little piece, or is there a piece that you're not really liking that you kind of want to re-amp a little bit? Like I see like these little baby hairs here that I missed that are kind of just sticking out. So I'm just gonna go back through real quick and just kind of see if there's anything that I went a little too fast. And then this time you're letting your hair cool down. So it's nice because you're keeping your curl in for a little bit before you run your fingers through. So at this point it's really nice because even if you're not like fixing anything, you're letting your hair cool. If you don't see a part that you want to fix or recurl, then just let your hair cool for a little bit and make sure like it's not really hot anymore, just because you really want the heat to settle in the curl before you start messing with the curl itself. Just helps make it last longer. Especially if you do struggle with getting your hair to stay curled. One thing I do love about this product though is because T3 is so amazing, the tool actually helps make your curl last longer. So this product in general, on top of these little tips and tricks I'm showing you, is gonna make your curls literally last. Like I don't even have to use hairspray. For those of you who maybe struggle with getting your curl to last, maybe try using hairspray first or after you've tried using it. But I only use hairspray if it's raining outside, or if I know my hair is gonna be maybe a little bit frizzy that day and I don't want it to go crazy. That's when I use hairspray, not to keep my curl in. So, and that never used to be the case before. I used to have to use hairspray. So this definitely does it justice. So I'm just kind of fluffing out my roots here just to see if there's like a spot that I kind of want to go back over. I kind of want to amp up this a little bit. All right guys, so now this is the part. My hair is kind of like all cooled off. I'm just kind of like volumizing it here a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna flip my hair down, and I have to stand up to do this because it's really hard to do it in this chair. So I'm gonna flip my head forward so all my hair is like in front of my face, and I'm just gonna like wave it around and carefully like run my fingers through my hair to kind of break up the curls a little bit. I know that seems exaggerated, but it's really important to whip your hair back and forth. So now I'm just kind of running my fingers through my hair. At this point too, you can see if there's like a section where you're like, I don't really like how that looks. I really want to fix that. All right, guys, and the finished product. So obviously play with your hair a little bit on how you want it to frame and kind of tuck these little pieces in where you feel like looks good and looks natural and how you want it to look. For me, you know, this comes out a little bit different all the time, but it kind of almost looks a little bit like, oh, the wind came up and kind of moved your hair back a little bit. So this is the finished product. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask down below. I'd love to help you guys if you have any questions. And if you're new to this, just keep watching like how I do it and watch other videos on how to do it, because that's how I personally learned. Was I just kept watching and watching, because it is tricky looking in the mirror and doing the opposite and making sure you curl it away from your face. It's just all a bunch of stuff that you have to learn, and it comes with time. You just gotta practice, practice, practice. Thanks for stopping by with Glow with Candace. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how I curl my hair with my T3 curling wand. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button down below. And if you're new here and wanna see future videos like this and more by me, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you back on my channel. But until next time, bye.